Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this video. So this is about the most important planet in everyone's horoscope. Okay, so it's about the sun. Okay, and the sun, as we know, is the source of all life on earth. Okay, the sun is the karaka for health. It is the source of existence for all living organisms, as it affects the vitality and endurance of everyone. Okay, and if you have a well-placed sun, then it means you are a person of character. Okay, if you know you will be distinguished by independence and charisma, willpower and generosity, firmness and responsibility. Okay, and such a person having a strong sun in the horoscope will be very confident in himself or herself, in his or her beliefs, and would know how to be a leader as well as lead others. Okay, and it becomes very easy for such a person to achieve respect and recognition in the eyes of others. And a well-placed Surya in the natal chart in the horoscope is a sign of a good leader, of a good administrator, an organizer, as well as a politician. And most importantly, sun is the karaka for fame. Okay, so without the sun, fame is impossible. Many people will now tell you that Rahu is the karaka for fame, which is not true, because Rahu is the image of the sun. Rahu always tries to imitate the sun, whereas the sun is always famous. Okay, now in the horoscope, the sun is responsible, or it is the karaka for our personality, our sense of our sense of I-ness, or the ego, will, power, charisma, vitality. And in its highest form, the sun is the atma, or spirit, which has an eternal nature and personifies pure consciousness. Okay, and it is the natural atma karaka, or the natural light of the soul. And by looking at the position of the sun in the natal chart, one can determine the character, as I said, and vitality of the native. Determine the strength and the strengths and weaknesses of the native, and also understand how much authority such a native will enjoy in the eyes of others. Okay, so what happens if the sun is weak? In that case, the person will suffer from a lack of vitality and self-confidence. The person will have difficulty accepting responsibility and defending his or her interests. Such a person often has to suppress his or her ambitions and make compromises for the sake of other people. And the sun is the highest. The sun is in its strongest form in its sign of exaltation, which is Aries, especially in Ashwini nakshatra. And it also becomes strong in the sign of Leo, as well as in other fire signs, Aries and Sagittarius. And it becomes weak in the sign of Venus, which is Libra. Okay, that represents the fall of the sun. Okay, and if the sun is in the Kendra houses, that means in 1, 4, 7, 10, or in Trikona houses 1, 5, 9, then such a person can realize his ambitions easily and become a good leader and organizer. However, Dushtana sun is not always bad as is projected. But if the sun goes into the 12th, the 8th, or the 6th house, which are the Dushthanas, or the difficult houses, it can interfere with your personal growth. Okay, and if the sun is in the Upachaya houses, 3, 6, 10th, and 11th, then it will help you achieve your goals, your objectives, your desires slowly, and then give you popularity after a period of difficulties or losses. Okay, so as Vedic astrologers, or as students of astrology, it is very important that while analyzing a chart, you should take into account the position of the sun in houses, in signs, as well as in conjunctions with other planets. And you have to remember one thing, that the sun is neither benefic nor a malefic. It is regarded as a krura graha by Parashara. Krura means cruel. So if the sun goes into a Kendra house, it can negatively impact some affairs of those houses by its cruelty. Okay, now let's look at how the sun behaves in different houses. Of course, these are very basic predictions, you have to look at the full horoscope for seeing the results as such. Okay, so if the sun is in the first house is the house of personality, so that gives bright leadership qualities, charisma, as well as ambition. And a person is, with this position, a person is able or capable of acting harshly or selfishly. If the sun is located in the second house, this can indicate a great interest in the financial sphere of the owner of the horoscope, and the native will have a good ability to manage savings. But sun in the second house is not good for the love life. Okay, so it can, your love life can suffer because of your ego. All right. What if the sun comes in the third house? So this is a position that represents courage, because third house is the parakrama bhava, the house of your efforts. It also denotes responsibility and creativity for those who have this position of the sun. Okay. In the fourth house, the native will, will face self-centered behavior from his family. And usually what I've seen in this position is that the person himself or the partner can take an authoritarian position, and as a result, difficulties come up in the domestic life. Okay, because the fourth house is the digbala of the moon, and the dikshunya of the sun. That means the sun is losing its directional strength in the fourth house. Okay, if the sun is in the fifth house, then it bestows intelligence, family values, a lot of creativity, as well as a desire for power and success, as well as fame. Okay, sun in the sixth house, so this is good. If you are having enemies, then your enemies would be really afraid of you. Okay, because for sun in the sixth house, the person will really fight for his rightful place in the scheme of things, will face enemies and competitors, and will come out the winner every time if there are no other adverse influences on the sixth house. Okay, usually such a person can hold a high position in the service of the state or institutions, or serve as a leader, or engage in social activities. Okay, sun in the seventh house, this is not good. Okay, because the seventh house is the natural, in the natural Kalpurush Kundli, the seventh house is ruled by Libra. So the seventh house sun may give a selfish and a self-centered partner, and the native himself or herself may treat the partner in a very selfish and self-centered way. Okay, and even the marriage or relationships of the native can suffer because of his or her huge ego. If the sun is in the eighth house, so that will give great interest in exploration and mystery, because the eighth house is the most secretive house of the horoscope. Okay, and the sun going to the eighth house, it throws its light upon the eighth house, it brightens the affairs of the eighth house. Okay, so the person will be very fond of, digging up old mysteries or fantasies whichever are hidden from the normal world. And this position is often common amongst surgeons, because they have to just go inside the human body and look for those parts which are hidden, which are affected by, by diseases. Even scientists and also some great astrologers have sun in the eighth house. Ninth house sun, this is a good combination to have. Okay, because the ninth house is the house of dharma, and sun being in the ninth house gives the qualities of a leader and administrator, gives an interest in politics, and also a lot of love for travel. Okay, in the 10th house, as I said about the fourth house, the sun gets dikshunya in the fourth house, but in the 10th house, the sun is digbala. That means it is receiving directional strength, and that gives a great potential for successful career realization. Okay, a lot of people say that 10th house sun gives a government job. It is true in most cases, but then such a sun should not be afflicted. And for people having 10th house sun, they can easily achieve recognition, become an outstanding public figure, and also be, recognized for their ability to organize and manage things. Okay, 11th house sun is again very powerful, and it speaks of great activity in the social sphere, because the 11th house sun represents the ultimate desire for public recognition, and such a person may be lucky to be born in an influential environment, and he or she may receive help from friends and acquaintances of a higher social status. Okay. In the 12th house, Sun in the 12th house, that is regarded as the Marankaran Sthana, or the the Marankaran MKS of the Sun. Okay, this is where the Sun feels death-like pain, and this is a place where the native can suffer from bad health, can suffer from weak character, and usually what I have seen is that such a person has an early separation from the father, and also frequent changes in activities. That means these people will change jobs very frequently and will have a love of traveling. Okay. But then, although the 12th house Sun represents MKS, it can actually give a very high spiritual potential if the Sun is well placed. For example, if the Sun is placed in the 12th house, but the sign is ruled by Aries or by Leo or by Sagittarius, then such a person can have a very high spiritual quotient. Okay. So, what are the remedies to strengthen the Sun? The easiest one is to do Surya Namaskar. Okay, but then don't do Surya Namaskar without the mantras. Okay, without the mantras, please don't do Surya Namaskar. That is not going to work. All right. And the other remedy that you can do if you think Surya Namaskar takes a lot of time is to be disciplined, is to is to be very punctual in your routine affairs. Okay, or in your work, whatever it is. If you start becoming punctual, if you start becoming disciplined, then whatever you do, then the Sun automatically starts giving you good results. But then you have to follow these remedies for at least 3 months before you start, before you start seeing tangible changes in your life and around you. Okay. So that's it from me in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the content, share it with your friends and family. And if you have a need for a consultation, you can always reach out at the number given in the description box. All right. So I'll see you soon in yet another video. Namaste. Om Gurave Namaha.